Okay, continuing our discussion with the Trenton Fire Chief, Steve Corson. I'm Chris Popper here in Bangor, Chief down in Trenton. And Chief, last week we kind of talked about some of the needs that the Trenton Fire Department had. And let's keep our discussion going.
All right. Well, thanks again for joining me this afternoon, Chris. I certainly appreciate it. So I'm just going to kind of walk through the station here real quick. Most people, when they walk in this station, usually it's for our fundraising breakfast. Usually the station is empty, so all they see is a big wide open space. I kind of want to go through this a little bit and kind of see the different issues that we have here. And again, I'm just trying to pass along basic information. Due to COVID and everything that's going on, it's very hard to push information out to folks to let them understand, where we are. So I just like to do that if I could. First of all, behind me, these are 10-foot wide overhead doors. I suspect most residents' homes that have garages are like 9-foot wide. So just think about the size of these trucks getting in and out of a 10-foot wide space. It makes it kind of difficult. So that's one issue that's really been ongoing for a while. The trucks now are getting bigger in size. It has nothing to do with really the specs that we look at. It's just the manufacturers. They're starting to add height to cabs and starting to just make trucks bigger in general. So we always have to look out for our specs when we go, speccing out a new piece of apparatus. So I'm going to move forward here just a little bit, Chris, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So this space is about 2.5 feet wide. No matter where you go in the station and try to get into a piece of apparatus, you've got basically 2.5 feet to work with. It sounds like a lot, but picture me in full turnout gear coming up this alleyway trying to get into a piece of apparatus. So one of the problems we have is our doors in our apparatus, they almost touch. They almost touch the other apparatus on the floor. Matter of fact, 2 drivers couldn't get into the door, apparatus at the same time if they had to. So it makes it extremely difficult. Sometimes we actually have to take turns. We have to take turns in and out of these alleyways to do our job, which makes it kind of difficult. The other part of this is we have compartment doors for our equipment, and sometimes it's very hard to get equipment in and out. Again, we're taking turns. And it just makes it hard when we do inspections, when we put gear away after a fire, we do cleaning, that sort of thing. We just have to kind of rotate. The other thing sometimes we have to do is we actually have to take the trucks outside to move stuff, move equipment, take equipment off, etc. You take May through October, that's not so bad, but you take a day like this, especially an overnight, and it makes it really difficult on doing our job and staying warm and doing things safely. So I'm going to move ahead one more time, Chris.
I mean, if you had air apparatus, there's no way you'd be able to turn around.
That's a good point. Matter of fact, we have apparatus coming out of this compartment right here, and it does make it difficult. There's 2.5 feet here to work with. This is a perfect example. This piece of equipment here works off a electric lift, so it actually comes down this way in this pattern, if you will, comes down this way. 2.5 feet, we can't do it. We can't get this piece of equipment down, so we actually have to pull the truck out to get that piece of equipment down. And that it doesn't matter if it's after a fire call or training or whatever. The trucks have to jockey in and out to do our job. What it does do is it takes up time. We have volunteers here on their own time trying to get things done, and when we have to move stuff around, it just takes up time. It just eats up time, and people would rather be home with their families. So sure. That's another piece of the equation. Basically, what I want to follow up on is this building was built in 1952. It originally housed the elementary school. And like I said last week, in 1977-ish, 78, when the town moved the elementary school, they put this building to use and made it a fire station. So we are 69 years into a building and about 43 years into the fire station. like I said, usually around 30 years or so, the public safety buildings get a real, good look at across across the country, and the needs change. It's pretty obvious the needs change, and that's kind of where we are now. We just we're here so much, doing so many things. It just makes it harder for us to work.
Chief, let me ask you a question. I mean, I would think that in not knowing, I mean, Trenton's a fairly large town, and where the fire station is right now is near the airport. I mean, obviously, you guys are in the event of an emergency at the airport, you're able to get over there very, very quickly. With Route 1A or the all the accidents there, I mean, you are very close to there, and then the back, or as you turn right going off out of the fire station, what is it, the Gooseneck Road? So where would you envision the fire station being if it's not there?
It's a good question. We want to try to maintain our Route 3 corridor response as best as possible, which also includes the airport. That's a majority of our calls. The other part of the equation is there's a 10-mile radius outside a community's fire station for insurance ratings. So once you start getting out of that 10-mile radius, people start seeing different changes in their insurance fees. So we have found a parcel. There's a parcel of land that's located about halfway between our current fire station and Route 3.
Yeah.
So that's.
Hang on 1 second. Sorry. Hold on.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. Of course.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. So we found a parcel. It currently has a salt sand shed on the property. It's just to the right of the current Versant power station. So there's a road in there, and there's a lot. So
I mean, and then are you big enough to have 2 fire stations where you'd continue the use of this one, or would you this building would then become something else?
That would be up to the Trenton government. I feel like that probably would be okay in our one station. In the future, there might be a possibility of something on the Bayside Road, something like that. But for now, with the size of this current station and the limitations of it, I think my personal opinion is the best thing to do is try to get ourselves a new station. That's my opinion, but so just to follow up a little bit, we had an independent study done in 2018 that was submitted in December of 2018, and it kind of gave us a third-party outside look of our needs and our limitations. This station is about 5,200 square feet, roughly. That third-party study indicated that, or suggested that we ought to be twice that size. So we ought to be roughly around 10,000 square feet. It sounds like a lot, but once you put apparatus in it, you put some office space, you put bathrooms, you put lockers, you put all that stuff, showers, decon stations, that sort of thing. That space, it gets eaten up pretty quick. So we're currently looking at about 10,000 square feet. We're not looking at anything more than that right now. That's kind of where we want to go. What
is the cost of something like that?
Funny you should ask.
How many pancake breakfasts are we going to need for this?
I knew that was coming. I actually did a little bit of research over the last week or so, and I had a lot of great information for the community. But what I didn't have is a price tag. And I think overall people understand where we are and where we want to be, but no one really knew price tag. So I did some work. Some folks did get back to me, and they figure that to build a station that we're looking at probably between 1.3 and 1.5 million dollars. It's about 130 to 150 dollars a square foot. Is it a big investment? Yeah, absolutely. But it's a big investment over 30 years. So if you break it down over 30 years, it's it helps absorb that a little bit. It's not a one-time fee. It's not a yearly deal. It's for 30 years. So that's kind of where I thought we'd be. I kind of thought we'd be in that 1.5 to 2. So we're kind of on that low end of where I thought we'd be, which for me is good news, because if somebody came back and said it's going to cost you 2.5, then we'd have to regroup. But yeah, that's where we are. I'm looking really heavy at the Southwest Harbor Fire Station. I think it's a great fit. I've been down there a couple of times, took some video, took some pictures. They built theirs in 2007. They got in under budget. They've got a beautiful building. It's big enough. It's got 8-foot width between apparatus, plenty of room to work, 14-foot wide doors, overhead doors. It's got a lot of good stuff. So that's kind of what I'm visualizing.
Do you have a reserve fund right now? Does the Trenton Town office or the government have a fire reserve fund? Or is this something that, they'd have to go out and bond the entire amount?
There's a small reserve account. There's not a lot in it right now. It originally was set up for the feasibility study. There was some monies left over in that account. We put a little bit in over the last couple of years. It's really more for the paperwork, if you will. Maybe to hire an architect or engineering group or something to maybe dig deeper into what we want. But it's not a large amount to fund the building right now.
Yeah. So in essence, it'd have to be out, go to the town meeting and then be bonded, and people would have to vote on it.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We'd have to kind of get our material and our information, in a row, and go to a town meeting for a vote. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Yep.
Well, certainly. It sounds like it's needed. I know people are going to get a sticker shock at 1.3. But that's where we are. So, all right.
Yeah, and honestly, we started this project probably late part of 2017. So we did our feasibility study. We got the information that we needed, and we kind of went quiet a little bit. So I'm hoping doing this sort of thing kind of wakes things up a little bit, and it kind of gets us moving in the right direction. So that's our plan.
All right. Sounds good. Well, evidently someone feels the need that they need to call me. So
apparently.
Let's have this discussion further, and we'll continue on with our discussions about what the Trenton Fire Department needs.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Chris.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Have a good afternoon. Thanks.